G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. As you can probably tell already, we're back, baby. We are back in the casting booth, and I tell you what, I'm feeling so damn good. I arrived less than 12 hours ago? Less than 12 hours ago. I've had myself a little nap. I said, you know what, it's time to get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Woodwall. We actually talked about this map just a couple of games ago, and here it is in a beautiful matchup. Ladies and gentlemen, spawning in on the south side of the map in the color yellow, playing as the Malians, it's Beasty. And in the north side of the map in the color purple, playing as the Byzantines, representing Team Liquid, it is Demu. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Woodwall. This is part of EGC TV's Master of Realms. It's an event that happens every single weekend. I say every single weekend. There's a little apostrophe? What's that little thing called? Hold on, let me look at it. Maybe that'll work. Asterisk. There we go. I think I was like a little bit stuck between asterisk and apostrophe that my brain just kind of farted. And, well, then you got astrophy, which is very, not to be confused with atrophy. But anyways, the astrophy, the astrophy is specifically there to just denote the fact that Master of Realms is not a tournament that runs forever. It's only happening for a couple more weeks, so make sure you check it out this Saturday, this Sunday, 15 GMT. That's the time I'm putting on the stamp. Let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit about this matchup. Of course, this matchup is one of the brand new civilizations, the Byzantines. I say brand new. I gotta stop saying brand new. It's been 8 months, Drongo. You know, that's it, mate. It's well and truly a new civilization. Or, sorry, well and truly an old civilization. There we go. Catching myself right now. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about what we can expect today. So one of the things that I wouldn't really expect on a map like this is very, very big aggression coming out. Normally what happens on maps like this is you've got a little bit more defense that's going to be coming through. Now, there's some reasons why you might decide to get aggressive, and that could be that maybe your enemy is setting up some trade. This is a great map for trade because you've got the trade post all the way down to the bottom here, so if you can get yourself a market up here, which is unlikely, but if you can, then you can always do some big trades. Of course, you've also got cows to consider here for Beasty, and that could be a big problem for Demu. I'm curious to see how he goes about tackling the cow this game, because the Byzantines obviously are in a pretty good spot at the moment, but realistically, you guys see that? Damn it. I saw him cancel it, and I was like, here it comes, here it comes. No, not gonna do it. No trade. Maybe, probably not a second TC. I think we've been seeing mainly one TC plays been coming out from pretty much the top level of players, and I suspect it's probably gonna be the same case here, one TC apiece. So, the onus here, or the burden here, is definitely going to be on Demu to try and take Beasty out before that economy can really start to kick in, because once that cow economy gets going, it's very hard to stop it, especially if you're only playing 1 TC v 1 TC. If you're on, say, like a Chinese 2 TC, it's a little bit different. I'm not going to talk about the Chinese because I always talk about the Chinese. You know what we can talk about? Let's talk about my plane trip back. So, for anyone who doesn't know, I got 2 little ones, 2 under 2, which is apparently not a good thing. And that's what I found out on the trip back, the plane trip back. The plane trip over was actually pretty good. The little one, he slept the entire way. He woke up a couple times for a feed. But the big one, he was he just always needed his handheld. You know, we were switching out. Okay, you want to watch Miss Rachel? Let's watch Miss Rachel. Let's do some flashcards. You know, we're always switching up activities. Did some drawing. Okay, I thought, all right. Well, I think we're going to be fine here on the flight back home. Drongo. Oh, Drongo. You will soon learn the pains of being a parent, my friend, and that is predictability is not persistent. It is absolutely... I'm looking for a P word to put there. I was going to say pathetic, but I don't think you'd find a word even low enough for that. It's tough. We'll put it that way. Look, I'm not going to go into details, but I'm just going to say I've had so many bodily fluids thrown up. So I just kind of went into details over me. For the flight, it was not fun. But the good news is we're back. We're in one piece. We're safe. Everybody's home. We didn't miss any luggage. That's always a good thing. We almost did. But, yeah, Papa Drongo went back onto the airplane. We got it. Don't worry. We got it. Let's get into it. Okay, we got ourselves a game. So we're going to open up here on the north side with a single barracks. And where are we rallying this barracks to? We're rallying it over towards the enemy pit mine. That's where Demu's heading today. And I'll tell you what, isn't it beautiful to be back here in glorious 4K? It's nothing quite like just 4K viewing, and I will also mention this isn't even like my final form when it comes to 4K. This is using a lower bitrate, so things might look a little bit like not crisp. They get even crisper, I promise. It's only because I'm recording so close to when I'm going to upload this for you guys, so I want to make the file size a bit smaller. But we got double systems now starting to come up for demo. Keep in mind he is pumping the Lametine. Down here we've got the berries opening for him as well, so expect to see that mercenary house coming through shortly. Would be surprised to see him go anything other than javelins. I feel like javelins here make a lot of sense against Beasty on the Malians, who's obviously also got access to the javelin as well. It would just be a little bit crazy. I mean, Keshiks might make sense here, in fact, to go up against the Malians, but you'd be a little bit crazy to go into longbows, though. I don't know. We'll see what the plan is here for demo. Slowly and steadily, the upgrades are coming through. Horticulture picked up. Wheelbarrow already through on the side of Beastie. He's got on for double broadaxe. Not to mention the fact that that double broadaxe has already been paired with that wheelbarrow. But now pushing out towards the second gold vein. Important to note this is a larger gold vein as well, which is going to mean a few more houses around the sides of this bad boy. Nice little trades coming through here. Second Lametine also going to be joining the party. Scout just going to do a little bit of sieging for now. With the second archer, I suspect that Demo's going to have to fall back away from this. He'd be crazy to commit to this, but it looks like he is going to pop that shield wall. Takes a little bit less damage, forces the Vil back once again, but is going to be on his merry way. Now, speaking of merry ways, obviously I've just been on my merry way back to Australia, but I tell you what, it is absolutely freezing here. So my wife originally, she's from the Philippines. She's been in Australia for a long time, but we went back, we saw her family, I got to meet them all. They were great people, and it was hot there. It was very hot. It was so hot. So I'm a guy that wears glasses, all right, and I would open. So inside my bedroom's air conditioned, but like out in the living area, not air conditioned. I would open that door and my glasses would fog up. Like that was the difference between where I was at and where like everyone else was at. And they're used to that, so they're fine. But me being this little guy. Anyway, what's my point? My point is I've just gone from like 33-degree heat in the Philippines with 100% humidity to Australia. It's about 3 degrees. So for anybody working with the Fahrenheit system, I went from about 90 degrees to whatever your freezing point is. Like, you know, when you put water into the freezer and it freezes, like that point where it freezes, right there, a little bit above that, just a tiny little bit above that. That's where we're at. So I don't know what I don't know where Fahrenheit bottoms out on the freezing scale. All I know is 100 is like 37.5 in Celsius. Anyway, let's check in on the north side. It is going to be javelins. No real surprise coming out here. Demo going to be mixing in a couple of horsemen as well. Of course, with that Grand Winery, expect to see a couple of olive groves be thrown down shortly. We can hear behind this the blacksmith's also going to be added in, and more pressure now being put on towards this secondary pit mine. My question now for the beast is, will we see some cows? And yes, we will. They are on the menu, ladies and gentlemen. It is steak tonight, and these look like some decent looking cows. Have a look at that. I think is that A1? I think it might be. Is it A1 Wagyu? A5 Wagyu? I can't remember. One of them is a one of them is a cow, the other one is a piece of paper. But look, I wouldn't be surprised if both of them technically are pieces of paper, because at least in Australia, that's our sizing. We have like A4. That's your standard piece of paper. We've been talking about a lot of Australian standards today, you know, like, well, to be fair, it's probably like the whole world. United States, like, I know how you guys measure stuff, right? Like, I heard about that asteroid that was the size of 2 brontosauruses, and I'm like, that's an interesting way to measure asteroids, but look, United States, I'm down with it. I know exactly what a brontosaurus looks like, how much it weighs, you know, the rough girth of a brontosaurus, and I can picture 2 of them together in asteroid form. I know exactly what you're picking up. I'll put it back down, don't worry. All right, more numbers starting to build here. Have a look at this. Beastie going with the full ranged combo. But keep in mind, each of these units does something different. You've got the Javelin, which is effective against other ranged units. The Archer, more effective against the Lametine, the melee units. And that's why we're seeing this here. But of course, both of them very weak to Horsemen. So don't be surprised if Demu decides to switch things up and maybe throw down a second stable. I know I'd be thinking about doing that at the moment, but more pressure being put on. This pit mine's under pressure. Have a look at this. There's no way this bad boy is not going down. I tell you what, Kesha is all over this right now. Yelling timber, because Beastie's Vils are getting on out of there, and he's going to have to abandon it. Might have to go for something a little bit safer up towards this north side. It always feels so, what's the word, so bitter when you have to give up something like this. And you can just see this is the consequence of fighting up against the Byzantines. the Byzantines are a very difficult civilization to go up against early on, just because of the amount of units they can get out onto the field. We can see right now that the Demu is outnumbering Beasty by a mile. Now, there's a caveat there, that obviously being that Beasty's focusing a little bit on the economy as well. And I'm starting to wonder, is this a trap? You know, was it Admiral Akbar? General Akbar? It had to be Admiral Akbar. You know, the look on his face was that of an admiral. You know, I'm a big UFO guy. A lot of UFO witnesses, admirals, and they've all got that one look, and it's the exact same look that Admiral Akbar had when he yelled, "It's a trap!" Is Beasty trapping his opponent down here? You know, he thinks he's getting himself a good deal, but is Beasty behind this, like booming up like a big boy? I feel like the answer to this question is maybe. Because Beasty's like, you know what, we're gonna commit again to this pit mine. And that's the part where I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just thinking too far ahead here. If Beasty was gonna go put the pit mine over here and then start houses, I'd be like, yeah, maybe it was a trap. Maybe he just wanted to get the enemy forces down there. Now I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. I think he may have just, maybe he made a few too many cows. But that's part of the plan, right? Like, that's the big thing with the Malians. You want to try and hit that power spike because it all comes in that early castle age. Demu's going to have a decent power spike when he hits castle age. Importantly, he's got that landmark, that Golden Horn Tower. Don't worry, I didn't forget. The Golden Horn Tower, which is equivalent, I think they nerfed it a little bit, so it's probably closer to like 10 vils, maybe 9 vils, somewhere around that. But the big cow landmark is... That's a chunky boy. It's worth a lot. I don't even know what the math is on them, but like the difference between 20 cows getting buffed up by that bad boy and 20 cows not, it's probably a significant amount. But then on top of that, like you're only going cows in the first place because you can buff them up with that. So there's something to be said about cows in the first place. But Levantini up against Donzo's Javelin, throwing down on Javelin. Archers on the backside trying to find a pick. Not enough Donzo's here. You can see him getting thick in it, and you can see the way they've got to fall back here. One thing to note, there's no archers on the side of Demu, who's going to use his javelins as pseudo archers. So it means the Donzos do stay alive for a little bit longer, but beautiful control coming through from Demu, bringing these horsemen all the way through. Now keep in mind, he's gone for the Grand Winery, which means he won't have access to that Triumph ability. At least if I remember correctly, it is the Triumph ability. I'm hoping I do, but have a look at that difference in numbers. Now with that, absolutely amazing fight for Demu. Now the question is, where does he go from here? He's got two options. Number one, Castle Age. Number two, he can double down and look to go into Rams. I'd be more tempted to say Castle Age is the right call here. Castle Age, you know, just play to your strengths. Byzantines, very strong here in the Castle Age. Try and keep the pressure on towards Beasty, so much so that you can get a little bit of a castle edge on him. You could potentially even look for like a veteran horseman timing. That could definitely work. I'd sign up for one of those. Meanwhile, towards the middle, Beasty, he's looking for another way through. He knows that his opponent has walled the north side. He probably doesn't know. You know what? I don't think he does know. But even if there was a way we could find out, yeah, I don't think he knows. Anyway, we'll put it in there. We'll say, oh, he definitely knows. He needs to find another way through. The wood wall is getting actively chopped right now. Beasty wants to find the way in. Meanwhile, a little bit of a raid coming in on that backside. It looks like a worker has been taken out already, but I suspect it was probably the worker that was down here. This one should be alive. Of course, no textiles just yet, but Beasty's not even going to need it. Age up about to come through for Demu. We'll check and see where he puts it down. Probably somewhere around here. It looks good. There we go. That'll do. Perfect. Golden Horn Tower now coming through on the Foodvilles. No real surprise there. One thing to note, though, is Beasty is absolutely nowhere near aging up. However, if Demu doesn't keep the pressure on, give the man a minute and he will be right there with you. Have a look at this. The income per minute is getting pretty crazy for Beasty. 1,000 food a minute. So we're talking about 1,500 total right here. Almost 1,600 plus the 500. So you're talking about a total of 2,100 income per minute. Compared over to Demu, he's sitting on 1,000, 1,500, 2,700, 2,900. So pretty similar, considering there's 18 vills on the Golden Horn Tower that could be gathering, and they're not. So that's another thing to note. What level system are we up to? We're up to level 3, which isn't too bad. Level 3 system ain't that bad at all, especially for this stage of the game. Would love to see him continue to push that up now that he's got the Golden Horn Tower online. And immediately we see the mercenary upgrade coming through. He's going to pick up these veteran contracts. And of course, Beasty, he's realized that the foot hasn't really been on the pedal for Demu. You know, like the NOS has been in the back of the car, but we haven't really been pressing the button just yet. See ya. That's such an iconic line. Rest in peace. Sorry. I don't know. I'm just letting my memes be dreams at the moment. We're a bit scuffed here. And to be fair, like, I've had a bit of a nap, but I haven't had, you know, sleep. We'll say that much. I think if I had to say in, like, the last 48 hours, I've probably had maybe 6 hours of sleep, somewhere around that. So we're doing pretty well. Yeah, anyway, we're back into it. Donzo's not going to find that throw. There we go. That's what we're talking about. See you, mate. See you, mate. Grand Fulani Corral going to be coming in, aka the Big Cow Landmark. Let's take a look at these bad boys. 86 food a minute. Now, how much does it provide? It's 20 for each one. So let's just assume we've got 20. It's 20 by 20, 400. That's equivalent to about 10 unupgraded villages on food. It's also important to mention that you don't have to build farms for those villages that would have been on food in the first place. And of course, I suspect that's probably... I don't know if that gather rate is affected by horticulture. I don't know if that stacks. I probably should have tested that. I'm not a big Malian player, so you know, when it comes to testing things, I got to be passionate about the Civ first. Age up now through veterancy coming through on the leave me alone, guys. Leave me alone. 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds to go. Not too long. Veterancy coming through for the archers, for the Donzos, and of course for the javelin throwers. I was looking at this. I'm like, is that javelin throwers? It doesn't. Where's the javelin? I don't see the javelin. We also see the Musafati. That's what I was looking out for. I was like, are we going to see Musafati here? Because I'm somewhat expecting to hear from Varangian guards shortly. It's about that time, and we do start to see they are bringing their numbers out onto the field. How many have we got? We got 6 here on the front lines already. Beasty going to be able to take the fight here. Decent number of units he's got. Still outnumbered slightly. Pathing definitely in favor of Demu at the moment. He's got a nice little surround around the top side. But have a look at the javelin thrower difference coming in here. Beasty slowly working down the javelins of his opponent. There's not a big archer mass on that backside for Demu, which means that the front is only going to be dealt with by Varangian guards. He's going to fall back into those Musafati. We can see they're starting to come out onto the field now. Beasty indeed starting to retreat, maxing out those Musafati. You can have a look here. We got 2 more in queue. He's got 5 on the field at the moment. Definitely going to be a nice little combo. The javelin throwers going to be able to take out the archers. Archers, once they're dead, not going to be able to take out the Musafati. That could be the secret that he's looking for here. Meanwhile, on that north side, Beasty sieges down the enemy wall, gets a couple of, look at this, couple of Musafati on the other side, then puts a wall adjacent, I don't know if that's the right term, but somehow, have a look at this, on the bottom side, the Musafati defense comes in strong, and Demu, really, I mean, I don't know where it all went wrong for the guy. That looked like a pretty decent fight for him. I think it was just that Beasty got his upgrades in right on time. You couldn't ask for a better timing on that for Beasty. Like, that was absolutely perfect. And I think a large reason for that is just simply because you're upgrading units that are unique, which means when you upgrade those units, they train, or the timer to research their upgrade is shorter. So, as an example, unique is 30 seconds, whereas if I'm upgrading a men-at-arms as the Ottomans, it's going to take me double that at a minute, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong there. Don't trust a Drongo. There's been a lot of yelling. These Musafati, they definitely don't mess around. Musafati now. Let's check the upgrades. Just +1s for the moment. +2 now going to be coming through with the wedge rivets for the ranged armor. And have a look how the tables have turned. 52 versus 18. Beasty also putting pressure onto the top side, now starting to collect relics. Both of them have religious units on the map. The first one's already in the bag for Demu, but he is going to be scrambling for a defense here. I'd love to see a mango from him. A single mangonel could turn the tides here. The one thing to note, though, is that with the Musafati, and we do see level 5 systems coming through, which is very nice, with the Musafati, there is the threat always of stealth attack. Gotta be really careful of the stealth attack, of course. Towards that top side, do we see the Siege Workshop? No Siege Workshop just yet. Also starting to move into crossbows. Crossbows quite difficult to justify in this situation, especially when your enemy has got these javelin throwers. And normally they'd like to build up lots of javelin throwers, and we don't really see any Sofa warriors coming out just yet, so I don't really see what the crossbow is going to be doing just yet for Demu. But Varangian guards on the front line, fighting up against the Musafati. Javelins still picking off their enemies. Javelin v javelin. More javelins arriving. A lot of javelins getting thrown out right now. I'm trying to think of some sort of reference to a javelin other than the Olympics, and I really can't find one. But yeah, that's pretty much about it. What else could you do? Like, there's got to be like has there been a computer virus called like Javelin? Like, you've got all these spearfishing and Trojan and all that sort of thing, but you don't ever hear about the javelin attacks. Bring back the javelin cyber attacks. No, please don't. it could actually be a thing. I don't know if it is. Camel's out now as well. Still no cavalry on the field. That's the best thing he can muster in the defense. It does come through. He's going to throw an archery range down on the front. What kind of composition does Demo even fall into here? I think this is the hard thing about fighting against the Malians, is because of the Musofari. Speaking of Musofari, have a look at this. Beasty utilizing the stealth. Beasty coming around for the backside. Naughty Beasty. Beasty just walks past his enemy units and says, yeah, don't worry about it, guys. Look at this. Look at this. He's still under stealth. Unit's still invisible right now. Demu sees nothing except pain as his villagers immediately come out and start to turn the table quickly. Look at the amount of vills that start to fall here. Beasty taking out 8 vills. Keep in mind, we're on 1 TC apiece here. Every vill that you lose is 20 seconds behind your opponent you are now. And slowly and steadily, those Musofari make their way away. They're getting chased by the Lamentinai. Upgrades on the way through as well for the Beast. Have a look at this. We got +2 decarbonization in for him on that melee attack. Musofari's ever so passionate, still screaming with their every movement. We are making waves through the middle here. Making waves through the middle. But it's going to take time. It's going to take time to get those reinforcements. I like the Musofari. Just you can tell the quality of Beasty as a player, right? Like the fact that he just sends 2 Musofari to here, just because he knows that his opponent probably, like, I would say there's a 95% chance that they're on that wood line, but they're not. That's kind of wild, right? And we get to see it right there. Now Beasty falling onto his opponents. Look at the size of the army coming out for Demu, but hold on. Hold your horses, Drongo. 94 military population against 36. Demu's army looked huge, but Beasty's found a way to get through it. He walked right up towards it. I felt like he was AFK for a little bit, maybe falling asleep at the keyboard, but I tell you what, it doesn't look like it's going to be the case. Upgrades have now started to come through. He's got those poisoned arrows. It's going to mean it's very difficult for your opponent to have any type of armor, because remember, those poison arrows do work through armor, so it means that it's almost like true damage in a way. Really nice to have. Meanwhile, more raids on the north side. Demu, slowly, we can feel his world crashing down upon him as Beasty pushes in with the poison arrows, and that is it, ladies and gentlemen. The game is over. Well, I think that is it, fellas. This is the first game back. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. It's great to see EGC TV content is coming out thick and thin. Make sure you check them out this weekend. And of course, we're back to the normal content schedule. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.